Recently, I received a lot of comments from people just wondering, hey, Pendulum deck, you know the deck you made a long time ago? You said it was the best. Is it still the best? Like, did you make any new changes? Yeah, I actually did make some new changes. There's some new cards I added in. I'll be going over that at the end of this video. But right now, I just wanted to talk and say, I still think this is literally one of the best decks you can pick starting out. But I wouldn't pick it if you're new to Yu-Gi-Oh! Just because, like, it's a lot of combos, it's a lot of effects, it's a lot of reading. If there's one thing I know about new players is that they don't read all the cards, which is completely fine. It's a lot of reading, dude. But like, as you can see in the background, I'm using the Pendulum deck. I have some few changes in it. This is the more expensive variant. This isn't going to be a budget video. I'm sorry. I have previous budget videos. I can link it in the description. But this is just for the Pendulum deck that I run. Like, normally it's expensive. It has all these good cards. You see that? Extra Pendulum. That's one of the new cards. So in this, right now in this duel specifically, I'm not going to be talking about really what I do. I'm just going to be talking about pendulums in general. You can see from the gameplay that I'm bringing out a link. Yeah, usually when you end on a board of pendulums, since you're allowed to special summon multiple monsters like every single turn, I try to end on a boss monster. And I was able to summon more monsters because I had this new spell that just came out called Extra Pendulum, which allowed me to pendulum summon again. And every time he summons a monster, it just immediately gets switched to defense. And what better deck to test this against than Despia, one of the most popular decks in the game right now. Regardless, he's just going to search out his things. I'm going to negate one of his things, and I'm just going to negate everything that I can because right now I can get completely blown up by a Raigeki. It could just blow up all my monsters and I won't really be able to do much. So anything that I can negate, I'm going to negate until he has a way to out my board. And he's going to go into a fusion. Right here I thought he was going to make Guardian Chimera Tech. It like you destroy 2 cards and you draw 1. And now he's gonna fusion summon 3 monsters into the first Darklord. So this guy is running Despia Darklords. Normally I wouldn't think works. I think he's making it work. The fusion has this effect where it's like you can pay 1,000 life points, special summon a fairy, right? Despia are fairies, so you can just special summon the Despias again. And right here he was like doing all that, and I'm like, I'm just gonna Nibiru him because like he's gonna lose all his monsters, right? I was wrong. Misplay because his field spell has the effect, which I completely forgot about, and that's what he does. He ends on a board. It looks kind of scary, and right now he's going to special summon another monster from his graveyard. I think he special summons the Despia, if I remember correctly. Oh no, he doesn't. He special summons her. I'm going to add 2 cards to my hand. We're playing pendulums here. So I want to activate Oafdragon, which allows me to get another card from my extra deck back to my hand, and we're just going to pendulum summon 4 monsters. Astrograph in the extra pendulum zone, because that's the only spot you can pendulum summon him from the extra deck. And 3 monsters. Harmonizing is extremely cool because I'm able to special summon a monster from my deck. And that monster allows me to go into a rank 7 because I special summon Dragonpit, a level 7. Now the rank 7's not really good on his own, but what he does when he's in the graveyard is he lets you special summon his fusion. And his fusion is very good because it's an omni negate. It means you can negate anything. Your opponent tries to do any effect in the game, well, besides spell speed 4, you can just negate it. So I made Beyond the Pendulum. It doesn't really do much on its own, and also I misplayed. Supreme King is a very good card. It's almost like Raigeki, except you can like make it like pretty much whenever you want in this deck. And it also has a battle effect where if it attacks a monster, you can just destroy that monster straight up. So what I should have did was attacked his fusion, destroyed his fusion, and I would have been chilling, but misplay, not a really big deal. He's gonna special summon a monster from his graveyard. He's gonna special summon Ad Lib. And what is that? Allure? He's gonna banish one? Oh, that was so lucky. If he didn't get anything there, he would have lost his whole entire hand. But he got lucky. He's gonna end on a 5,200 monster, and it's my turn. Now, Supreme King can just destroy his fusion like straight up. Vortex can negate anything he does. So if he tries to activate his field spell or his set spell or trap, I can just negate it. And I'm just gonna pendulum summon everything because that's what pendulums do. I'm going to go into Ignister or Prominence. This guy has the effect where you can destroy a monster, pendulum monster I control, and then shuffle a card on the field into the deck. It does not target. I'll target the field, and yeah, he just scoops. So in this replay, I'm going to be talking about like really like opening hands because yeah, I can show you the cards in the deck, but it's better to show you like how it actually looks when you use the deck. So this is our opening hand, and I'm going to pause. I run hand traps. So we're going to see Ash Blossom. Sometimes you're going to see Maxx, sometimes you're going to see Ash Blossom or Nibiru. This time we see Ash Blossom. And then this is just the main Pendulum engine. Pendulum Call is really important here because Pendulum Call can turn any bad hand into a good hand. This is a really bad hand, but this hand can definitely be better. So first things first, I'm going to normal summon Joker because right now I want to bait out if he has an Ash Blossom. Because if I activate Pendulum Call and he negates it with Ash Blossom, I'm going to be down horrendously and it's going to be bad. But if I summon Joker, which I just top decked, and Joker gets Ash Blossom, that means Pendulum Call can't get Ash Blossom because you can't Ash Blossom twice. Also, the zone in which you summon Joker is very important. You don't want to summon him in the middle or in the corners. You want to summon him kind of in these like weird semi-middle zones. That's where you want to summon your Joker. The reason you want to do that is because your Link monsters, they have 2 arrows that point like down in each direction. Let me show you. Beyond the Pendulum has an arrow that points to the left and to the right. Now, if Joker still remains on the field and we're able to make Beyond the Pendulum, we want to be able to Pendulum summon monsters into those 2 zones in order to trigger her effect and also just to bring out more monsters from our extra deck. So that's the main reason you try not to summon Joker in the other zones, you summon them right there. So the 2 zones right now where Oafdragon is and Joker are the 2 most important zones, and those are the zones you want to summon your monsters in absolutely every single time. It's okay to summon in the other zones, but as you'll see here, I'm going to bring out Heavy Metal Foe's Electromite, and if I were to Pendulum summon again from the extra deck, I wouldn't be able to use all the zones. So that's why I'm summoning Baronne de Fleur all the way over here, just because I want to be able to Pendulum summon into these 2 zones, and I don't want any monsters that like aren't Pendulum summoned to go in those zones. Also, you can make Baronne de Fleur really easy, the best synchro monster pretty much in the entire game. Easy to activate Harpy's Feather Duster. Now, destroy all spawn traps. The spawn traps didn't get destroyed because we activated Pendulum Call, which protects your spawn traps, at least your pendulums, until the end of the turn. I think until the end of the next turn. So pretty much are protected during his turn. He's going to use Pinkertops, going to destroy both monsters. It's fine. He has 1 card in hand. Look at this, bro. We have 3 cards in our extra deck. We have Oafdragon if we need to use it, and we're going to Pendulum summon 4 monsters. Harmonizing is extremely good to special summon here because we're getting an extra monster. He just scoops because, I mean, we're just going to out advantage him. And this final replay is not going to really be super beginner friendly. It's more going to be me talking about like what you do in certain scenarios. So if you have a Joker in your hand, you should always open up with Joker because Joker can bait out Ash Blossom, Maxx if they're not good and they just drop it. But mainly Ash Blossom, Infinite Impermanence, Effect Veiler. Those are, and Gamma, I guess. Those are like the main things that it baits out. And Pendulum Call is so important that you never want to use it first unless you absolutely have to, because you want to make sure your opponent has nothing in their hand to stop you. Because if Pendulum Call gets negated, you lose a card in your hand, you lose Pendulum Call, and you're just like, you're down horrendously. I'm going to change Maxx to his monster because it allows him to special summon. And yeah, I could have saved Maxx for the next turn, but I feel like I'm just going to set up a big board this turn, so I don't really care. A new card that I added, Extra Pendulum, I really wanted to test because I received a comment and he was saying, hey, Extra Pendulum, is it good? Should you run it in your deck? And honestly, I didn't have like an honest response because I never tested it. And through testing, I love it. I think it's an amazing addition to the deck. You can at least run 1 because it's searchable. It's searchable through Star Pendulumgraph, and now Star Pendulumgraph is searchable through Double Iris, and Double Iris is searchable through everything else. So whenever you need a double summon or double extra pendulum, you can just like search it out and use it. And essentially it's equivalent to like 2 or 3 extra monsters. So I'm able to bring out more monsters using it. Also, if you see in that replay, I misplayed. I thought Beyond the Pendulum was special summon 2 monsters to the zone, but they have to be different level. So I was trying to destroy both of his cards. But it's not going to really matter because Baronne de Fleur is going to destroy 1 and negate the other, so they're both gone. And I don't remember if he scoops or not, but I have so many cards in my hand. Even if he got rid of my board, I would still be able to make a board. Even if he got rid of that board, I would still be able to make a board. That's how pendulums are. It's just you have an insane recovery. I do highly recommend this deck if you want like a fun pendulum combo heavy deck. If you don't mind playing solitaire a little bit, try this deck out. You might like it a lot. Let's jump into the deck profile. Alright, this is the deck profile. It looks very similar to previous ones if you've watched my previous videos. The new additions, I would say, from my last video that I'd done is Extra Pendulum. This card's amazing, and it's super shiny, which I'm very happy about. It just lets you Pendulum Summon again, and that's essentially just free monsters. It lets you get free monsters on a board. You can go into even bigger plays, which I didn't think were possible. This card is so good, in fact, that I feel like it might break Pendulums. If somebody can figure out a combo where you can like make an unstoppable board using this card, because this card's just free monsters, like it might just break the game. Besides that, in the extra deck, I think I added Beyond the Pendulum. This is a new addition. It's essentially like a weaker version of Electromite. You should always make Electromite if you can, just because it's just a way better card. But Beyond the Pendulum, it's pretty easy to make. It's just 2 effect monsters, including 1 pendulum. So you can even use like XYZ, Synchro. You can use stuff like that, which is really cool. It has the effect where you can like search a monster, but then you can't like activate monster effects unless you pendulum. And usually you're making this guy after you already pendulum. And the negate monster effect isn't really good because you're usually making this guy after you already pendulumed. So I don't really like that effect, but I do like the effect where if you special summon 2 monsters with different levels to the zones, you can destroy 2 cards on the field. And the arrows point down, and it's pretty easy to make, and I have 2 of them, so I'm running 2. It might be better at 1, but for now, running 2, seeing how that goes. Also, I added in Scareclaw Tryhard, just because, dude, this is a super generic boss monster. 3 effect monsters, 3000 attack, only 3 monsters to make, and it has an effect where all monsters go in defense. Also, it's unaffected by defense position monsters. It's kind of good, right? I think it's kind of good. But besides that, I'll just be going over the main deck real quick. 2 Dragonpit, 3 Maxx, 3 Ash Blossom, 1 Nibiru, 3 Performapal Pendulum Sorcerer, 3 Wisdom Eye, 3 Joker, 3 Harmonizing, 2 Double Iris, 1 Purple Poison, 1 Performapal Celestial Magician, 3 Oafdragon, 1 Astrograph, 3 Pendulum Call, 3 Duelist Alliance, 3 Extra Pendulum, 1 Star Pendulumgraph, and 1 Time Pendulumgraph. The cards that are at 1, aka Astro, Star Pendulum, Time Pendulum, Performapal, Purple Poison, those cards are all searchable in this deck. Very searchable. That's why they're at 1, because if you need them, you can just grab them. It's not like, oh, I'm hoping to draw them. I hope they're in my top of my deck and draw. No, it's more like, I hope they're in my deck. I don't really want to see more than 1. I only need 1, and whenever I want, I can just grab it. So we run those cards at 1. And I'm not running the other card that works with Astrograph. What is it called? Stargazer Magician. Just because that card is trash. And usually Astrograph, I don't want it in my hand. If it's in my hand, I can work around it, but I want it in my deck to send it to my extra deck through Heavy Metal Foes Electromite. And the cards are at 3 because like they're the best cards. Oafdragon, you want as a skill always. Harmonizing is probably the best card in the main deck. A Joker is just really good. Just like everything's so good. We run 1 Nibiru just in case we're drawing a ton with Maxx and our opponent's playing like Exodia spam OTK. I want to be able to at least have 1 out. Like, oh, he's playing Synchrons, and like I use Maxx, but I'm drawing a bunch of like cards that aren't going to do anything. He's going to kill me this turn. Ah, Nibiru, destroy everything he has, and then GG. Yeah, if you have any questions about this, the deck will be in the description down below. I'm just making this for the people in the comments who wanted to see it. Maybe new players want to see this. It's not, this video isn't really geared towards new players. If you're interested in it, you can feel free to check it out. I think that's going to be it for this deck profile. This is just me just showing you like the pendulums. If you want to make pendulums, this is probably what it's going to look like when it's at near full power. If you have better builds, better cards you can recommend, I mean, feel free to write in the comments. I'm sure I'll read it and maybe others, so it'll help somebody. But besides that, thank you so much for watching, and maybe I'll catch you later. Peace. Hey, if you enjoyed this video, feel free to subscribe. You can check out all the new content I'm going to be making. But besides that, hope you have a great day. See ya.
Attention fellow gamers, no anime beyond this point.